Hello and welcome back to ScreenBlue.com.
In this lecture, we're going to learn about classes in Java. So in our previous lecture, we learned about what method in Java is, right? We learned about how you can create a method that returns string, that returns integer, returns double, returns boolean, as well as the method that does not return anything, void methods, right? So in this lecture, we're going to learn about the classes. Classes is probably the most important topic in this entire Java course. So what is classes then? Class is a specification or a blueprint of how to provide some service. So basically classes, it's kind of like a set of instruction, okay, that provides some service. So like blueprint, class has some exact specification. So many objects can be created for the same class. And class can contain methods, variables for an object. So what that basically means is like class kind of bundles everything for you, right? So class would have methods, it would have variables, and so on, right? So let's say, for instance, I have this class called dog, right? So the dog class would have different characteristics, right? So you'd have a method, right? So let's say, for instance, dog class have method like bark, right? So all the dog barks. So you can have a method called bark, and the dog class could have a method called eat, sleep, and so on. Right? So now if you wanted to create an object from that class, right, you can call that class and create an object from it. It's like a blueprint. And also here, a class can have subclasses that can inherit or some of the characteristics of the class. So let's say you create a class, right? You can have a subclasses. So that means, let's say you have a class, right, which is called a parent class. Then you can have other classes that can inherit that class. So the class that inherits the parent class are called child classes or subclasses. And subclasses can also define their own methods and variables that are not part of their superclass. For instance, let's say here, example is animal. So let's say if I have an animal class, okay, so I can have subclasses, for instance, dog, cat, giraffe, and monkey. So animal, all this four has the same characteristics. Right? So if it's an animal, it's like a blueprint, right? And all these four different animals, they have kind of similar characteristics. However, they have different unique characteristics as well, right? So these four child classes can inherit properties from animal class, okay, and have their own unique properties. Same thing with vehicle, right? So when you talk about vehicle, car, bicycle, motorbike, and SUV, they are all vehicles. However, a car, bicycle, motorbike, and SUV, they have their own unique characteristics as well. So now let's go more into like, not going to generic, but like Ford, right? So Ford can be a class as well. And you have Focus, Ford F-150, Mustang, Explorer, Fiesta. So those kind of like different cars of Ford, right? So you have a Ford, and Ford has kind of like a similar characteristic, maybe the same engine, right? Maybe the same steering wheel, right? Maybe the same battery, and so on. And same thing with dog, right? So you can have Corgi, German Shepherd, Labrador. They are all dogs. They have the similar characteristics as this dog parent class. Okay, however, they might have their own different unique characteristics as well. Same thing with Honda, right? So if I have a Honda class, a Honda vehicle have different models, right? Accord, Civic, Pilot, CRV, and so on. Right? So I can have a Honda class, okay, it's kind of like a blueprint, and I can have other subclasses or child classes, Accord, Civic, Pilot, or CRV. So I'll give you a clear example. So I have a class called Pet. Okay, this is a super class. So now this dog, right, it's kind of your child class of Pet. Okay, so Pet is your super class. The pet has some characteristics that makes it as a pet. And dog has some of the characteristics of pet. So that's why dog is a pet. So dog is kind of like a child class of this superclass pet. So now you dog have different subclasses here. So there are different types of dog, right? So I have a hound here. Okay, so the hound here is a child class of dog. Terrier is also a child class of dog. And poodle is also a child class of dog. They're different types of dog, right? They're different breed of dogs. Okay, so the hound also have different types. Beagle, like one of the examples is Beagle. The Terrier, Welsh Terrier, and the Poodle, you have a toy poodle. You have a medium poodle, and so on. So now here, what I'm saying here is this pet, right? It's kind of like a blueprint. It has certain characteristics. So you have this class called pet, and dog is kind of like a child class because it has some characteristics of pet. Similarly, hound is the child class of dog. Terrier is the child class of dog. Poodle is a child class of dog, and Beagle is a child class of hound. Welsh Terrier is the child class of Terrier. Toy Poodle is the child class of Poodle. So now if you create a Java class, what does it look like? I think you might have already know how you can create a class, right? So as you can see here, this is a dog class, public class dog. Every time we write some code in here, we created a class. So now you can understand what class is. Here I've got this class called dog. So now I've got this main method here because I wanted to execute this methods here. So now as you can see here, I have this methods, name of dog, right? Every dog has a name, right? So I created this name of dog method. So I have this method called bark. All the dogs bark, right? So this is like a common characteristics of a dog, right? It's like a blueprint. So bark is another method. Eat. Every dog eats, right? Every dog sleeps and every dog plays. So in this name of dog, it's going to print out my name is the dog name. This parameter has a string parameter. So the dog name, it's going to print out my name is whatever the dog name is. And here I've got this bark method. It's a void method, right? This method does not return anything, which we learned in our previous lecture. It's just going to print out I'm barking. It's going to print out I'm eating, I'm sleeping, and I'm playing. So now if I run this method here, right? Since I have this main method, I'm actually calling this name of dog. And here I'm actually putting max, string parameter. So I just put max here. So when I call this method name of dog max, it's going to say my name is max. So when I say bark, it's going to say I'm barking, I'm eating, I'm sleeping, I'm playing. So this 4 methods you can use anywhere, right? You can create any number of objects from this dog class, and they are like the characteristics of a dog, right? It's like a blueprint, so you can use it on n number of objects. And now this name of dog method, you can use it and you can change the parameter name, right? Whatever the dog name is. So you can use all those methods here. So this kind of like bundles all your methods, variables. It's kind of like a single unit. So that is the class. So let's create a class, the dog class in our IntelliJ. So I'm actually going to go to our IntelliJ here, and I'm actually going to create a new class, and I'm actually going to call it dog. So here, I'm actually going to create public static void main string args. So here, I'm going to create a name of dog. So it has a one parameter, string parameter, and the name, and it's going to print out the name of the dog. So I'm going to say name is, let's put string interpolation, okay, name here, and when you do string interpolation, you're going to have to do string.format and close the braces here. So the other one is bark. Okay, it doesn't have anything. It's going to say system.out.println I'm barking. I'm going to copy this to save some time and put it here. Okay, so here it's going to say sleep and sleeping. It's going to say eat, eating, and here say play, playing. So now here I'm actually going to call this name of dog here and put it max, called bark, and sleep. Okay, eat. Okay, play. All right, so you can see here I created this class called dog, right? This class called dog, it has this methods, name of dog, bark, sleep, eat, and play. So these are all these methods that you can use in any dog, right? So it's kind of like a blueprint. Okay, so now in this main method, I'm calling this method to trying to show you what it does here. So now if I run this, it's going to say name is max, I'm barking, I'm sleeping, I'm eating, I'm playing. Okay, let's call another one again here, second dog. So it's going to say name of dog here, and it's going to say Jackie. And I'm going to say the same thing, bark, sleep, eat, play. So now if I run this, so here, name is max, and I call this method and barking, sleeping, eating, playing. Second dog here, name of dog, Jackie, barking, sleeping, eating, playing. So here, you can see I always use the same method here, okay, for the second dog. So you can use the same method for n number of dogs. That's why it's very important to understand how you can create a class and what class does. Kind of a blueprint. bundles all the methods, variables, and all the things that you need. So now, if you wanted to actually use this methods, you can do that. And child method can also use this method here. We're going to learn about inheritance, where you're going to actually inherit all these methods from your parent class in our future lectures. All right, so that's what the class means in Java. I hope you understand what class in Java is and how you can actually create a class. I think we've been creating a class from lecture 1, but now you understand what class is. All right, so that's it for this lecture. I'll see you guys in our next lecture.